outside as you look at the screen. It's Theo Elenas and Dino Zamparelli on the front of the grid. The light blinks red. Engine notes rise. We go racing. Good start made by Dino Zamparelli. Slow start by Dan Harper from the second row. A really brave start by newcomer Valentin Asclo in the yellow and white car, who storms through from the fourth row of the grid, and he gains ground. Look to go to fourth place on the run into Richards for the first time. That was a very good getaway indeed. Now everybody tiptoes round, trying to find where the grip levels are. So far, so good.
Great start from Zamparelli, swept round the outside of Theo Elenas, but does that imply that maybe Zamparelli's on wets and Elenas is? He's already looking for the wettest part of the road, so he must be on wets, and well, he's not that far ahead of Elenas, is he? So I'm already convinced that wets would be the wrong way to go.
Valentin Asclo, to my memory, has never raced at Snetterton. There he is in the yellow and white car in third place, doing a great job. Runs for Motorbase. Battles are raging on all the way through the order as they come out of Bonhole for the first time. Now towards Cora. One or two drivers going wide. He's lost out relative to pole position, but he's not gone tumbling back down the order, has he?
No, he'd need to be sort of 30, 40 seconds, maybe even a minute behind, wouldn't he, later in the race, but he will clearly be quicker. He'll be building temperature into those slicks, and they'll just get better and better and better.
Over the timing line, one lap in the book, but Dino Zamparelli is tries to find a way past Luis Plato and Theo Elenas. Now he's right back in the game, isn't he? He's bringing Harper and Tom Wrigley with him.
Well, the moment those slicks switch on, and that's that Dan Kirby having his debut in the Porsche Carrera Cup. He's had a spin, but he's loving life in the Porsche Carrera Cup, and this is his first meeting. We hope we see more of him.
It's his company that sponsors the Team Hard cars in the BTCC. There is Dan Harper getting up the
moment further back. Oh, this is a spin for Dan Kirby. As you say, yeah, closely linked to the touring car paddock. But yeah, as you say, looked after his tyres in those initial laps and now has the pace of everybody.
So as there, whoops, contact. Richard Hawken into the back of Gary Eastwood, and past the pair goes Dan Kirby, and off the road goes Gary Eastwood. Goes harvesting, he'll get back onto the circuit, loses more places, and up the inside comes Fraser Robertson. And the rain is falling once again, we understand. Now Dino Zamparelli leads the way. Off the road and back on again is Richard Hawken. More drivers with their wipers on. Richard Hawken versus Fraser Robertson, side by side. Fraser on the outside. We've seen him spinning this year, we've seen him rolling, but now he's doing a great job of defending.
Well, I would call it robust racing. It's good to see in these Porsches.
Down towards Agostini they turn. Through the left-hander, back onto the power. And here is where it all kicked off. Gary Eastwood goes a little bit wide, then gets the tap in the tail. Dan Kirby says, that's good. 2 places gained, thank you very much. Another bit of elbowing, and Gary Eastwood off the road.
Well, Gary sort of overcommitted, didn't he? And he dragged Richard.
Yeah, he needs to try to find a way past Mangian in 2018 for a 4th class win of the season. It's 3-all between the two Peters. And look, they're being reeled in now by Dan Kirby, having his first race in Carrera Cup GB. What a debut this would be if he could win the class.
He certainly would. Just looking at the lines, middle of the road for Perez, trying to protect the final corner Murrays.
Here they come then, and is Peter Kyle-Henny going to be able to take a win? Is Peter Mangian going to be able to hang on to it? What can Dan Kirby do? Arguably, the heroics ought to come in the second race when there's more repair time before the next round, because they've got another race to do today, and so it looks like it is going to be win number 4 of the season for Peter Mangian. That makes it 4-3 over Peter Kyle-Henny, and so it is Peter Mangian who is the best of the AMs. Second is Peter Kyle-Henny, and third, great debut for the podium for Team Hard Touring Car team sponsor Dan Kirby, former BMW and Ginetta racer. And not only is he third and on the podium, look how close he was to the 2 regulars.
After a spin as well.
Indeed, yeah, exactly right. And no safety car to bring him back into the game. So Dan Kirby's going to be one to watch for the rest of the season, no argument. But Dino Zamparelli. Harper with Dino Zamparelli on row 3, George Gamble for company. The 4th row, Jamie Autumn, the Pro-Am Championship leader, alongside Seb Perez, ahead of Dan Vaughan and Justin Sherwood, with the leading AMs. Next, Peter Mangian and Peter Kyle-Henny alongside on row 6. Next comes newcomer Dan Kirby, podium in race 1, his first Porsche race. Esme Hawkey alongside, ahead of Richard Hawken and Fraser. We wait for the lights to go red. 1 or 2 marshals leaning over the pit wall, suggesting they might be concerned about something. Let us see. Are we ready to go? Drivers now see a light that goes red. Who will make the best start as we go racing? It's not Dan Harper who bogs down and gets mugged by George Gamble. Tom Wrigley makes a decent start. Luis Plato tries to go with him on the outside line, down towards Riches. But Tom Wrigley has the inside line. Luis Plato keeps on coming. Who's going to come out ahead? It's Wrigley on the inside line, up towards Wilson on the outside line. 77 is Plato. Third is Theo Elinas as they hit the brakes for the hairpin, and Wrigley it is who takes over the race.
And Harper's coming on Elinas. Is Harper quicker than Elinas? Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And this is Justin Sherwood keeping at bay Peter Mangian, who is keeping at bay Peter Kyle Henney. So the AM battle. Justin Sherwood has just got past Peter Mangian, so he's pulling away from the AM. He's past him, he's dragging clear. And so now the battle is on for the class lead there. So Tom Wrigley benefiting from it for this race because he leads the way. Last time, the margin he had over the rest was 6:10. So this is for the AM lead. Peter Kyle Henney tries to squeeze up the inside of Peter Mangian, can't do it. And Dan Kirby, look, he's right there behind them. Dan, who's raced in Ginettas on the Toka package. Prior to that, he drove in the BMW Compact Cup. But on his first weekend of the championship, it looks like he's going to get 2 podiums, and he's right up there with established regular race winners. He's doing a brilliant job.
He is, and in the first race he had a spin and still caught them by the end of the race. This time he's behind them very early on, so he's got plenty of time to make some moves.
So let's see what he can do. As there, Tom Wrigley, pressure pads, it's like a speed camera. A photograph is taken, and so there's no argument about it. The photograph is there of where the car is. Now look in the AM class here. Peter Mangian under pressure again from Peter Kyle Henney, but right with them is Dan Kirby as they drop down against all the S's. Peter Mangian making the car very wide indeed, but Kirby could be the real danger here. He's on for a podium, but which step is not yet decided.
Well, he looks like a racer to me. I haven't watched him race before, but he looks like a charger, and we'll see how he goes. He's in the GT Marks team alongside Esme Hawking. That car was originally driven at the start of this year by James Kay, wasn't it? And it's now in his hand. He's going well with it.
Definitely so, as you look at
temperature, isn't anything to worry about.
Steve Gales gets out of the way of the leaders. Through goes Wrigley. Lewis Plato on the outside just hesitates, understandably. There is Mangian versus Kyle Henney for the lead of the AMs. Peter Mangian drives a wide car. Peter Kyle Henney has had a very successful season. 3 wins to his credit, 4 to Peter Mangian. And now up the inside goes Kyle Henney. He's going to make contact. Dan Kirby might suddenly find himself second or even in the lead. Let's see. He's right there with them. The 2 Peters lean on each other going through the hairpin at Wilson. On the inside line for turn 3 will be Peter Mangian. And here comes Kirby up the inside. Gets a face full of Kyle Henney. Can't find a way through, though.
Well, they just about got away with that, didn't they?
And Dan Kirby is going to get a driving standards flag this time as Plato, Zamparelli, Elinas and Harper. Second, third. Bits of the traffic, that little bit of hesitation, inevitable. And also the track surface changing means that the gap has widened between the top 2. Now there is the AM battle still raging on. It is still Peter Mangian ahead of Peter Kyle Henney. Dan Kirby right there behind them. And there is a 5-second penalty, we understand, being offered to 84 Richard Hawken. He's trying to hang on to this for another 2 corners. We've had some great racing out of the AMs this year. And both Peter Mangian and Peter Kyle Henney evenly matched. They're both pretty experienced drivers. Peter Mangian was in Caterhams a long, long time ago. And as he comes now down towards the end of the 14th lap, the checkered flag is in sight, and with it, it's going to be a 5th AM class win of the season. Well done, Peter Mangian. But look, he's only a couple of lengths up on Peter Kyle Henney. The 2 of them cross the line with Dan Kirby, a 2nd podium of the day, and it's only his 2nd Porsche race.
Yeah, Dan just falling away from those 2, not surprisingly with the spots of rain on the screen, but a great weekend, a strong weekend for Peter Mangian.